Saturday evening. It's a huge game. It's a huge, huge game in the spectrum of everything that's going on right now at Manchester United. Newcastle have the ability to be a genuine thorn in the side of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his men. There's two bigger games tomorrow in Man City, Arsenal, and of course the Merseyside derby. But we know for a fact that the media and football fans alike are really focusing on this one come the evening. Could it even be Ole's last game in charge? Could there be some poetic football romance in ex-Man United legend, well, current Man United legend, but ex-Man United centre-back Steve Bruce, now currently at Newcastle United, putting one of the final nails into the coffin? I've got a couple of Geordies that are going to be joining us on the show to preview it. I want you to do me a big favor and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the retweet button if you're watching on Twitter right now. Here we go. Welcome back to the channel for Steve, and thank you very much, Kendall, for making your debut on the Football Terrace. It's actually going to be twice in one day because you're on tonight, I believe, with Maya, which is amazing. So thank you both for coming on.
No problem.
No problem.
I know, good. And I was saying to you guys backstage, playing Newcastle is, with respect, is never something that I'm overly concerned with, but that isn't the case. We are in terrible form of Manchester United. Newcastle have begun the season so well, and I'm shitting a brick. I'm not going to lie. I'm genuinely scared about playing yourselves tomorrow. Especially, we know we're going to have an epic day tomorrow. The Merseyside derby is going to be brilliant. City Arsenal is going to be great. And I'm not really going to be able to enjoy it because I feel like Man United's pending doom is coming in the evening. And, you know, Britain's Got Talent's finished, so there's nothing afterwards to cheer me up. I'm so scared. I really, really am. But I want to start off by talking about Newcastle. And I'll go to yourself first on this, please, Kendall. A really good start to the season for yourselves after a bit of a disappointing summer, not getting the takeover through. But Steve Bruce and his men have started very well. And, you know, how confident and proud are you of the way you've begun things?
Yeah, I mean, results, fair enough. It's like 7 points. We can't really mourn at the moment, but unfortunately that hasn't come with like a very exciting football at all. As the Newcastle fans know, it's obviously Brucey ball, very defensive football, but obviously we're getting results with it as well, so you can't really mourn in that respect. Where we are right now, when we started the season, we probably didn't think we were going to start this season like we have, and then obviously to steal a point at Spurs as well. I know the Spurs fans won't be happy, and half the football fans weren't happy about the stolen point at Spurs, but it was decent for us, so hopefully we can just kick on and get a result against you tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that point against Tottenham was such an interesting one because nobody is a fan of this new handball rule, but when it benefits you in a circle, I remember watching it laughing, not at Tottenham, just thinking, how have Newcastle got something out of that game? And I think more often than not now, you have to look at these games and think, when you get the opportunity to put a team to bed, you've got to do it, because at any moment, one of these dodgy handballs could come in and save the day. Steve, from your point of view, how confident are you going up against Manchester United with the current state of affairs with Ole and his boys?
I don't really think that comes into it, to be perfectly honest. I think the way that Manchester United are playing is very, similar to a lot of the big teams. I think they're struggling a little bit without the support of the crowd. Old Trafford, Anfield aren't the places of fear anymore for visiting teams, because every game's played out essentially like a practice match. It's if you listen to it on Sky or wherever you watch your games without the crowds, it's just like a training game, and I think that's affecting the bigger teams more than it's affecting the smaller teams or the teams that ply their trade in mid-table. So am I worried about Newcastle season? Yes, I am still. Bruce has had a bit of luck. We're into the quarterfinals of the League Cup, and as Kendall's already pointed out, we've got points in the bag. But for me, every game, anybody can really beat anybody at the moment. And, you know, what would normally be the case at St James's Park is that we'd have 52,000 people there who would be waiting for the first bit of injustice from a referee's whistle, you know, a free kick given the wrong way, and then suddenly the crowd ups the ante, and it can affect Man United more. I think, you know, Man United have got a pretty good away record. The home record is appalling, but their away record is pretty good so far this season. So I think you might be jumping the gun here a little bit and expecting this being Ollie's last game. I can see Manchester United probably squeezing the win and Ollie having a little bit of a reprieve. But you know, it's going to be interesting to say the least. Newcastle have got a game changer in Alan St Maximin, and that's going to be, you know, if the real Alan St Maximin turns up and you know we can give the supply to Wilson, then you know you might be right. But you know, Man United's away record is something which I'm looking at, to be perfectly honest.
I hear that. It is a good away record, and I think for me, my sort of negativity is coming from this angle of I'm sick and tired of putting faith in this club. And there's an attack on Ollie because I love Ollie and I'll always respect him for what he's done. Whenever I get myself confident, they've destroyed it. You know, I've given the example a few times in the last 2 weeks. I feel like Alfie Moon in EastEnders. I keep taking Kat Slater back and she keeps cheating on me. And that's how I feel. I can't kind of get that out of my head. You mentioned Alan St Maximin there as well. And Kendall, from your point of view, how imperative is he going to be to securing points, if not a victory tomorrow?
Oh, he's massively imperative. He completely changes the game for us if we like set up the way obviously Bruce likes us to set up. When he's on, you have that little bit of hope that something's going to happen because he is so creative. Obviously, like when we played Brighton, he ended up the way we set up as a 4-4-2. He ended up being like a little bit further back and playing sort of left wing back, and that obviously we lost the game. And it goes to show that he is not like very defensive minded at all. He's our most creative attacking player that we have. When we have him on, you can rely on an assist. You can rely on playing the ball forward. So he's massive. He's imperative, absolutely imperative to us pushing forward, especially in the type of football that we play. So when you have him on the pitch, you know, you can rely on him for some skill, some magic. And when you're up against like sort of a defense like Man United at the moment, where they're not, you know, really solid and they're not really strong, we can sort of hope that he can push through and do something.
Absolutely. Elite KJ's joined us. He's one of the presenters at the Football Terrace, a United fan, but probably the biggest. I would say he loves Alan St Maximin more than most Newcastle fans. He every stream, he's like, I want us to buy him. You love him, don't you, KJ?
Yo, it's Alan St. Gucci Mane, fam. You know what I'm saying? That headband is just beautiful. For me, Alan St. Maximin is a footballer that you don't see very often anymore. He's a very much we call him street ballers. He's a street footballer. He's on there. He looks like he's enjoying every game that he plays. He's not making people for fun. He's driving at players, and just you can see the panic in their eyes when he's driving at players. And Alan St. Maximin, I think he's a top talent. Newcastle did a smart business by getting him on that 6-year deal. Now trying to prize him away from you guys will cost a lot of money. And being a massive fan of him, I saw that 6-year deal. I was like, well, there's my ASM to United dream. It's gone now, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely the one guy that I worry the most about when it comes to Newcastle, especially the form that we're in. However, if we are playing someone like Tuanzebe, or if we have a fully focused, fully fit Eric Bailly, I believe those kind of players can silence him definitely. And even Wan-Bissaka, if he ends up on Wan-Bissaka's side, that side's luck off. So yeah, I think United need to definitely turn up and be switched on with someone like St. Maximin and Callum Wilson. With the pace coming at them, we need to be focused.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, who do you expect to start tomorrow, Steve? I mean, there's suddenly at Newcastle, there's this sort of breadth of really technically gifted football players. You mentioned St Maximin, there's Shelvey, you got Wilson, there's Jamal Lewis. I didn't realize until today looking, Ryan Fraser's there as an example. Like, there's so much talent now at Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Ashley's let the shackles off. He's allowed Steve Bruce to spend some money in the transfer window on players essentially who, Newcastle wouldn't have been allowed to sign under previous managers, because the age of these players means that there'll be no profit in selling them on in a few years' time. So it's gone against the grain. He's gone for experience. Wilson obviously was a key, because we needed somebody to score goals last season. Shelby finished as top scorer with 6 goals, which wasn't good enough to stay up. But Newcastle fans do like to see a number 9 who puts the ball in the back of the net. And Wilson obviously coming in, is what we needed. Ryan Fraser scored a fantastic goal for Scotland in midweek to secure the points for them in their international group. So he's now regaining his fitness after having a little spell out towards the back end of last season for Bournemouth. So he will be a threat. Whether he'll start, I'm not too sure. Obviously, the good news for Man United is Martin Dubravka is still sidelined. He obviously was our player of the season last season, our goalkeeper. He's now had a setback with a heel injury, so he's not going to be available now until probably December. Darlow, who's come in, has been, an able replacement, and obviously a lot of people doubted whether he would come in and hit the ground running, but he has. He's made the goalkeeper shirt his own, so he will start. No Dwight Gale, of course. Dwight Gale scoring against Manchester United, last season, and he's not a bad player, Dwight Gale. He's he's on the injured list though, unfortunately. Matt Ritchie still sidelined. Sean Longstaff still missed training this week, so he's not available. The good news for Newcastle fans is Matty Longstaff is available, and of course he scored the goal in the corresponding fixture last year. Paul Dummett and Kieran Clark all possibly available tomorrow as well. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, a lot of people thinking that Steve Bruce should maybe go with an unchanged team from our last fixture. Jamal Lewis, I think, had an Achilles problem. I know Steve Bruce hasn't done his press conference yet, so we're not 100% sure whether he's going to be fit to play. But if he is, I would imagine Jamal Lewis will start. Almiron, Jeff Hendrick, Emil Kraft, and Fabian Shaw have all reported back with no issues from international duties. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. We hope he doesn't go out and park the bus. He's got this horrendous, he's not a man of tactics, Steve Bruce. I get the impression over the time that he's managed Newcastle that he's more of a man manager. He likes to have a beer with the players and put his arm around them, and I think he leaves all the technical coaching side of stuff to Steve Agnew, and that stood out like a sore thumb when we progressed with the penalty shootout in the League Cup, when Bruce was standing on the sidelines and Steve Agnew was sorting out who was taking the penalties. So yeah, I wouldn't want to predict the side for tomorrow, but we have got plenty of options, which is good news.
I swear, I'm sorry. I swear Matty Longstaff just plays against United twice a year and then just disappears for the rest of the season.
We have seen him, at all season as well, because he's been injured, so I'd laugh if he brought him back to
literally, he's gonna. I can see it now. He comes back, he starts first game in ages, but he scores a goal. Like it's just one of those things now.
It'll be a screamer. Kendall, how do you expect Newcastle to play against Man United? Do you think they'll try and go at us defensively? We've been shambolic. Or do you think it'll be a bit of a low block and try and pounce on the counter-attack? Because Spurs did that with such great effect.
I think that's the typical sort of football that Bruce plays. He plays very deep, obviously with like very defensive football, and then tries to counter with obviously like St. Maximin, for example, or normally Shelby lumping up a long ball to Wilson or something like that. Like that's just typical Bruce. So I would love it if he completely shocked us all and like played like really like attacking football tomorrow. Like I'd be glad, because I think like that would be a great way to start. Obviously with like post international break and seeing that Fraser's had really good form for Scotland, but he unfortunately hasn't really been like obviously in the starting 11 that much since the beginning of the season. He has had fitness problems. He did obviously not play since March. So it'd be nice if he started him. I really want him to like have like a 3 and a 1 up front. So like obviously Wilson up front with Almiron, St. Maximin and Fraser behind. But he won't do that because that's what the fans want. So he won't do that. And obviously he has a bit of a thing going on with Joe Linton. So Joe Linton will probably start. But yeah, I'd love it if he did it and he completely changed our mind. I'm trying to like hope that reverse psychology works, and I'm like, oh, please don't start St. Maximin, Fraser, and Almiron. He's like, yeah, I'll just do that complete opposite to what fans want. So maybe reverse psychology will work, but I'll love it if he does that.
Great shouts there as well. I sometimes I try and do that. I'll throw out the negative. Oh, we're definitely not winning this game in hope that something happens the opposite way around. KJ, let's speak about Man United for a minute here as well, because it's been the pits the past couple of weeks. To be 6 at home, you go into the international break, and it's just been every day pure negativity. And then our record signing centre back has an awful game for England midweek and gets sent off. It's just doom, doom, doom. Do you feel any sort of sense of positivity going into this game? Or do you end up thinking by the end of the 90 minutes, Joe Linton's going to end up looking like peak Lewandowski?
Anyhow, that fake Brazilian scores against us. Oh, man. Listen, listen. I've already said it on the channel. I'm Vibes FC now. Like, the way the transfer window went and that 6-1 drumming, it just put the nail in the coffin for me in terms of expectations. So I'm going into this game hopeful. You know what? I hope we play 3 at the back. I hope we play our best players, and I hope we win. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect anything from this Man United team right at the moment. So am I positive? No. But am I negative? No. I'm literally just here saying, yo, boys, go out there, do your best. It's the mighty Newcastle. The Geordies, they love a fight. They love a scrap. So we just got to be up for the task. But I believe we can win this game. Like if I'm being serious, yeah, we can win this game. Will it change the fortunes of Man United? I don't think so. I don't think it's like win this game and then boom, all the negativity goes away and Ollie's job is safe and all the players are back in our good graces. No, that's not going to happen. They need this for themselves. This win isn't really about the fans. It's just for them as footballers and professionals. You need to win this game to show that you're not weak and you can bounce back from a 6-1 defeat. But yeah, man, I'm just here hoping for a good time. I want to see ASM, but I don't want to see him play well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to enjoy the day, and hopefully Joe Linton goes 3 on goal and trips over his own feet like he normally does, because my man, he's not Brazilian. I'm sorry. You got shagged for 40 million, guys. Like,
yeah, well, look, we had that, didn't we, with Andreas Pereira? Andre Peters, I call him, because there's no way that guy was Brazilian. I can't. You've got quite a few of these non-Brazilian Brazilians in the Premier League at the minute, because Gabriel Jesus is the same. Guy plays like Niall Quinn, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about him that's Brazilian at all. It's a madness. But Man United is an interesting one. Do you think, KJ, that there's talk about Tellus being on the bench, not starting? We know that Cavani cannot come in. Martial's missing, of course, through suspension. Who do you see starting in the striking positions? And what do you think will happen in midfield, primarily with Van der Beek, Pogba, Bruno?
I feel that there's things that I want to see and there's some stuff that I expect to see. So I would love to see a 2 up top with in a 3-5-2 with Rashford and Greenwood up top. I think that would be a very good combination against these Newcastle defenders. Pace and skill running at them, that'd be good to see. But knowing Ollie, he'll stick to the 4-2-3-1. I believe he probably put Igalo up top, to be honest. I can see that happening, Igalo or even Rashford up top. And then I could see him, I could really see him giving Pilastri a debut or start Dan James or something. And I don't see the whole restructuring of the team happening. Like, we know that we've spoke about before, that we need to go back to a 3 at the back, play a bit more defensive, make sure we're secure and tight. I can't really see that happening. In terms of the midfield situation, it's going to be Patrick, Pogba, and Bruno. Like, it should be. I'm actually saying for this game, screw it, fam. You know what I'm saying? Just go for complete vibes. Put all 3 of them on: Van der Beek, Bruno, Pogba. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as much as Newcastle are in good form, they're still Steve Bruce's Newcastle, so we should be able to pull it on them and get a result. And we shouldn't need to be worried about the defensive balance, because all 3 of those players are good, talented footballers who are intelligent. So we should be able to put all 3 of them on and stick it on them. And then when we're ready to make subs, bring off Pogba or bring off Bruno and put on Matic or Fred to secure the midfield. But yeah, it's going to be Matic, Bruno, Pogba. Someone says in the comments, I hate Oli. I don't hate Oli, bruv. Like, I've said, I'm neither Oli in or out. I'm here for the vibes. If Oli wins the game, hell yeah. If he loses the game, it is what it is. Don't worry about it, guys. But let's go. Let's go, Vibes FC, fam. We're coming for you.
Steve, from your point of view, we know United have very talented players. Whether or not they click each game as a team is another question. Who are the individuals that need to be stopped for Newcastle to be able to pick up points, if not a victory in this game?
To be honest, Man United, as a Newcastle fan, don't carry the same kind of threat for me that they did in the past. They've really been usurped as one of the top 4 teams by money. Man City's come in, Chelsea obviously dominating with money again now and making a lot of signings. Liverpool obviously the top dogs at the minute. I don't have the same kind of concerns anymore. I don't feel the rivalry between Newcastle and Manchester United, which was built and established in the 90s through our brief flirtation with being at the top of the league and Champions League. So you look at Man United's team and you think, actually, if we can hit our game and hit our A game, we could actually get something here. You look at Harry Maguire in particular; he's clearly not right. And obviously, the incident which happened to him in his holiday is obviously playing very heavily on his mind. And we saw that with his international performance, where 2 yellow cards saw him getting sent off for England. So he's not the player that Manchester United bought. There seems to be a lack of confidence in that back 4, and that's something which Newcastle really, really could capitalise on. I've got to be perfectly honest. There is nobody who I fear in that team, and the only thing I do fear is penalties and VAR, because Manchester United, do get a lot of penalties, and a lot of them tend to be against Newcastle.
Man United fans, you heard it there from Steve, one of the chief Geordies. Nothing to fear as such at Manchester United. Get your comments in now. Tell us and let us know what you think to that. We are live. We had She Devils United Mary saying we're going to make Steve eat his word tomorrow. Let's see if that is doable. Kendall, do you echo the same level of confidence as Steve?
It's not necessarily confidence, because Newcastle United have a really specific way of, ruining any hope that you have in anything. So I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I am more hopeful than usual. Like, normally I'll just be like, we're not going to get anything here, because obviously apart from last year with the whole Matty Longstaff situation, Man United are a tough game to play because they do sort of get a lot of decisions that go their way, and as Steve said, they do get a lot of penalties against us. So I am hopeful. I do actually think that if we set up the way that we think that we should, not that Steve Bruce thinks that we should, that we could get something. But obviously, it's inevitable that he's going to not. Well, I don't know. I'm saying that, but we actually don't know what he's going to do. So I do think we can do this. Obviously, whether or not we do, I'm not sure. But I completely echo Steve's sentiments. I'm not as fearful of United anymore as I used to be, like when I was younger. And obviously we've been a yo-yo club for the past couple of years, so it's nice to know that we actually aren't fearing Man United for once. But I kind of don't want Ollie to get sacked, because I just want to see the decline even more. I'm gonna get so much hate. Listen
about the pens. Yeah, people all talk about our pens. Tell your stupid defenders stop fouling our man in the box then. Don't be upset with us. Every time we run at you, man, you got one of your slow-ass defenders sticking a leg out and we get a foul. They ain't our fault, baby. You know what I'm saying? Chat to the Shells and Clark and them, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with us. In terms of Ollie in terms of the rest of the season, everyone's saying United are going to go downhill, acting like Ollie's going to be here for the whole season, bruv. His sacking's on the wall, fam. Don't worry about that. New manager bounce. When Poch comes in, we'll be live again. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it while you can, people, because you all know that Ollie ain't lasting that long. Everyone's saying you get sacked by Christmas, but yeah, acting like we're gonna be having him until the end of the season. Don't worry about that. When he gets sacked, new manager bounce, we'll be back. We'll be blessed.
Tomorrow, though, I don't think they'll sack him, because obviously you've got PSG next. So
oh yeah, no. Literally after this run,
different story.
there we go.
So Solskjaer's, like I said it as well, the title of the video, Solskjaer is finished. And that isn't me. Everyone knows what I feel about Ollie. I still think that we needed a man like him to help try and rebuild something. The board have decided whatever he's trying to build, we're not now going along with anyway. You can tell by the transfer activity, the fact they didn't get any of these signings, they haven't removed enough people from the squad, and the fact they're already talking to Poch's representatives. They've had conversations with Nagelsmann's. There's even sort of conversations now talking about looking at Allegri. They're doing their groundwork now to bring in a new manager. Winning tomorrow doesn't save Ollie. Losing tomorrow doesn't actually condemn him any further. The only way Ollie turns it round now is if he wins 10, 15 games on the bounce, which we know he's not going to be able to do because most managers in the history of Premier League football haven't ever done that. And he could beat you guys tomorrow 5-0, beat PSG, beat Chelsea, whoever we play next. He could win the next 5 games 3-0, 4-0 in every game, and then lose to Istanbul, can't pronounce the remainder of their name, and the Ollie out momentum will pick up again. He's a marked man. He's doomed. And that isn't about me being negative. That's just the way it is. And the club are endorsing that by already talking to other managers. You saw this week with Chelsea. There's a link, there's a rumor that Kante and Lampard have fallen out. Chelsea Football Club, straight out within 12 hours, they shut that story down. Bruno Fernandes shut down some stuff this week about him and Ollie, but that's because it was about him personally. Man United Football Club haven't shut down in nearly 2 weeks one single rumor about Ollie coming towards the end, needing 5 games to save himself. They just left that news out there completely unchallenged, which it's just obvious what they're trying to do. So I feel like I'm a bit like in KJ space. I want to win tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. Am I confident? Absolutely not, because Man United are on the floor right now. And to your point, Kendall, this is football. This is football. Football without rivalry is pointless. But absolutely, you should want us to keep Ollie, keeps you in the turn, especially for what Man United did to Newcastle in the mid-90s. I know there's still embers burning because of that. Because you guys should have won a league title. It should have happened, and Fergie destroyed that. And if you're not still bitter about it, you don't love Newcastle enough. Do you get where I'm coming from? There's that you should feel that way as rivals. And I always look at Newcastle a bit like that. Although the 90s was a long time ago, I still kind of looked at a Newcastle fixture because as a kid growing up, like Man United Newcastle was one of the biggest games on the calendar, and for me, it still kind of has that kind of historic attachment as before. It does. In terms of your season, Steve, what's the expectations after a good start? Where do you think you'll finish? How far can Steve Bruce take you?
Well, Steve Bruce can take us no higher than he probably has done. He's never going to get financial backing from Mike Ashley, who is still quite clearly trying to sell Newcastle United. And obviously the ongoing legal action which Mike Ashley's taken at the minute would hopefully still resolve in PIF coming back in and our club being taken over. But, it's going to be interesting. That is still running. The takeover isn't dead. It's still going on in the background. And until Amanda Staveley comes out and said that it is over, then, I've still got hope that will go through. But Steve Bruce is almost like a caretaker for me. He's stepped in. He's doing a job which nobody else would do. I mean, there was 11 people approached prior to Steve Bruce for this managerial job. And, I would say that he probably approached Newcastle to take this job because it's a job he wanted to do. Fair play to him. Look, I criticised him from day one. He's come in. He stuck to his guns. He's had a bit of luck. In fact, he's had a lot of luck, but he kept us up last season, which is all we can hope that he can achieve this season. Keep us up. He got us to the quarterfinals of a cup last year. He's got us to the quarterfinals of a cup again this year. And Steve Bruce is probably punching above his weight at the moment. We've got a big set of fixtures coming up now. Obviously, we have Man United tomorrow. The next few games will tell us where Steve Bruce will take us. I think one issue I would like to mention, and I think it's something which I'd like to get the Man United opinion on, is essentially £14.95 for pay-per-view to watch this game. A lot of Newcastle fans are absolutely up in arms. None of us are going to pay that. We're all giving £14.95 to the Newcastle West End Food Bank. So instead of essentially putting that money into the Premier League, we're giving it to the food bank. And we're just hoping the Manchester United fans are going to do something similar, because nobody should be paying this at all. It's an absolute disgrace. Football fans once again, being held to ransom.
Yeah, listen, I completely agree with you. I think we're overcharged for everything, and they do it because, as a general rule, they know that football fans will pay. Generally speaking, whatever we moan about the price of away tickets, but those diehard away fans want to go and support their teams. You know, prices of season tickets generally rise each year, and some clubs finesse it. Oh, we've frozen our prices 5 years running. Yeah, but the price of programs, a cup of tea and a pie have gone up at the same time. So you're still making more money out of people. Shirt prices. 10 years ago, you could buy a football shirt for like 40, 50 quid. They're like £99 now in some places. Like the growth is astronomical, and fans are always being put over a barrel. And I think, listen, send me the link through for that food bank. It's your idea, and I'll donate double that. I'll put in double whatever the asking price is towards that. I think that's the right thing to be done, because football taking a mick. But what I want to see happen, though, is I saw Gary Neville. I love Gary Neville, but I see him come out and say what a bad decision it is. And I know that the TV companies are passing all that money on to the clubs, but it's still being done by your employers, my friend. So I want to see you condemn your employers live on the air. Otherwise, I can't take your social justice seriously. And that's the thing for me, where you see it all the time. Like, I've seen a lot of YouTubers this week moan about it, but these same YouTubers do work for these broadcasters that are charging us this money. They're not calling out they're saying it's a disgrace. Oh, the Premier League a disgrace. So why aren't you condemning your employers that are also part of that process? So that's my only issue with all of this. There's a lot of virtue signaling that goes on. And there's a lot of people that like to sound like they're outraged, but they're still going to pay it, or they're still going to earn money off the back of it themselves, if that makes sense. And I think for me, you know, if you're moaning about fans having to pay that money, and, you know, I'm not doing a watch along for that Man United game, because for me to do a watch along, it means I've got to pay to watch it in that way. You know, there'll be people out there that are going to moan about having to pay it, but they're going to pay to watch it. And then they're going to have tens of thousands of people watching them do a watch along on it. If you're really against it, put your money where your mouth is. Don't do a watch along for the game. Condemn it. You know, any money you earn through that watch along, donate it to the food bank. Do something along those lines and see. But the problem is, Steve, most people in the cold, they'll tweet they care, but in a real sense, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, just stick it to them pagans, fam. I'm sick of these, man. You know what I'm saying?
We've had the whole season. We've had this whole summer. Sorry to interrupt you, KJ, but we've had the whole summer where essentially, you know, we're being told that piracy is one of the main reasons our takeover can't go through. But this whole situation is now just turning people to piracy. Everybody's going to try and find an illegal stream to watch the game, KJ.
No, it's true. It's true. And you know what? Yeah, more power to the people. Yeah, keep doing it, fam. I don't care. These pagans, yeah, need to get got. I'm sick of it. These guys. I hope literally we need to see them crumble just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just get some a little bit of satisfaction. They're rinsing us for our money. Do you know what? Yeah, I want to see you guys crumble a bit. I hope no one pays that pay-per-view money. But I know someone will. But I hope no one does, because it's a disgrace. These guys need to realize that you make more money by giving us satisfactory services, not by charging us loads. Because then we'll keep returning. And it's just like, I'm just tired of seeing it. So like, yo, everyone, stick it to these man. Yo, go to your nans and get it for free, or I don't care how you do it. Yeah, just go find a different way to do it, bro.
100%. We see it with Man United all the time, right? And you see a lot of United fans moan about the Glazers, and their actual words are they're leeches. All they only care about is money, or they care about is profit. They don't care about the football. And then you see them in the new Man United zebra kit, selfie. I'm a big United fan. I see this one guy, he's always moaning about them. And then this was last season, and United kind of endorsed this new pair of Adidas trainers. And they were beautiful trainers. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to buy these. I'm like, bro, you realize that that's part of United's contract to advertise these trainers? And you buying them is funding the Glazers. You know, I don't know if you guys have done sponsorship work before. You know this, Steve, the industry you've been in. There's quotas. You might get a sponsor, but you have to do a certain amount of promotions, a certain amount of unit sales, a certain amount of sign-ups, whatever it may be, to fulfill and get all the money you want. Or there could be bonuses attached for for different sort of tiers and thresholds you go through. So whenever you get these United fans, I'm sure you have Newcastle fans that do the same, that moan about the owners or the money, but yet they're still funding it. I look at them and just think, please stop moaning. I don't mind if you want to spend the money. If you want to give money to Mike Ashley, if you want to give money to the guy, yeah, exactly. Do it. I respect you for your freedom of choice. That's a great thing about living where we live, that you get that choice. But don't moan about something that you then go and do. I just find I find it nauseating. It makes me want to vomit in my own mouth and swallow it. Like, it's just horrible.
See, Steve actually said something that gave me PTSD from the transfer window. He was talking about how the transfer, the takeover is still going on in the background, and until Amanda comes out and says that is off, like that's when I believe it's off. I was like, that was Sancho, yeah. I was like, yo, until I hear Sancho come out and say there's no United deal going on, or United come out and say there's no United deal going on, no Sancho deal going on, I was there believing to the hilt. And you hearing that just gave me PTSD, like, oh, bro, I was there and the hope killed me, fam. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is brace yourself for 10 more years of Mike Ashley, bro. Like, it is what it is. I'm so sorry,
I think we've resigned ourselves to the fact that we're just never going to get rid of him.
Yeah. It's like us and the Glazers. It's like us and the Glazers, man. Like, we are stuck with these, man, to the end of time. It's so frustrating. I think United and Newcastle are one of the worst run clubs in the entire league. So, like, we got to be here for each other, man. It's just peak times.
And Newcastle, I mean, me and Steve had a lot of conversations in the summer about Mike Ashley. Some of the stories he told me were just mind-boggling. And I think with Man United, there's always a sense of, oh, you spent a lot of money, though. And it's true. We have spent a lot of the club's money in that time. There's no doubt about that. 800, 900 million pound plus on players since Fergie retired, not to mention the exorbitant salaries we've given. There's an element of that that's even more painful, though, because it's like been wasted. It's like watching your dad blow all your inheritance before he dies. It's like, oh, you're spending it all. And there's not a bottomless supply of money, and you've wasted it on Morgan Schneiderlin and the man. Do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating, and they're just awful. And I think whenever you look at successful clubs, the ownership is so good. And this is how good Liverpool's owners are. Liverpool Football Club were the front runners and the drivers behind this Project Big Picture program that they tried to push out. But yet the only club getting stick for it are Man United and the Glazers, because they're like the hate figures. No one's really speaking about the fact that Liverpool tried to finesse this. They were the ones who started the idea. But because they're looked at as great owners and a great football club again, everyone's like, we won't go at them because it's too hard. Let's just go for the easiest common denominator, and that's the Glazers here. And that really infuriated me this week, that I saw these journalists getting all these kudos. Oh, well done, Henry Winter. You're calling out the Glazers. I'm like, man, where's this energy been for 15 years from these journalists when these people have been parasites at Man United and slowly eroding us away? You weren't speaking up at all. As soon as suddenly their actions might damage a club that you respect, suddenly the Glazers are bad people. I just again, the hypocrisy within it is astounding. And the Project Big Picture, I mean, what farce that was. I mean, as a Man United fan, if it happened, it would benefit me. Like, without a doubt, it would make my club stronger and in a better position. But I'm not about that. I love the fact that Leicester's can win the league. I love the fact that I said to Steve, and Steve, remember this, when you guys were looking like you were going to get the takeover, I'm like, just go it, more competition, another team at the top. You know, I would love the Premier League to become like football was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s, where at the start of the season, any one of 10, 12, 13 clubs could win it. I mean, how amazing. Look how great this season has been. Now, for me as a United fan, it's been painful. But anyone can beat anybody. Yeah. Surely we should want that as football. Trying to have a monopoly where there's 2 or 3 teams that are always going to dominate and be at the top. I'm not about
boring, bro. It's boring.
It's weak
like
as
the
well.
Scottish League, like, why would you even watch that? It's just boring. You just know that Celtic or Rangers are going to like battle it out every year for the same spot. It's just like that. And like the Premier League, that's what they literally wanted. They wanted that to happen. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, this Big Six thing is it's been in the planning stages since 2017, and it just, you know, crass, you know, to even suggest it during a time when, you know, clubs are going out of business, and more clubs will go out of business. And, you know, to then say that it's to help the EFL financially, you know, just a serious misjudgment on behalf of the Premier League. And then to see it get voted against, well, you know, it is ridiculous. It's not a surprise. You know, we've sat back really and looked at this and said, you know, if some of these so-called Big Six want to go off and play in a European Super League, good luck to you. We'll be all right. You know, we can promote another 6 teams into the Premier League, and we can do quite well without you. But we don't know where we're going to be in 12 months' time. Fans aren't going back to football anytime soon. We're going to be going into a national lockdown before Halloween and bonfire night. Rest assured, we might get a little bit of freedom for Christmas, but that will be nowhere near St James's Park or Old Trafford. I don't think until right at the start of next season, and that is a big if, because, you know, this situation we find ourselves in is a mess, and there'll be a lot of teams will go out of business, and there'll be a lot of big name teams. And once we get round to the new year, you know, I think I've mentioned this a couple of times on NUFC Matters. Lord Botham, as he is now, came out and said he'd been speaking to the CEO of Sunderland Football Club, And every game they have without supporters going to the Stadium of Light, they're losing £450,000. Now that doesn't sound like a great deal of money in this day and age, but to Sunderland Football Club, that's an absolute fortune when they weren't in a very good state to start with. So, could Sunderland be one of those teams to go bust? They possibly could be. We lose our biggest rival.
As I said, wouldn't you love to see that happen, or you want them there just to smack them down every time you come against them?
I'm not that kind of person. I would hate to see Sunderland go out of business.
It would be horrible for North East football if they did.
Yeah.
It would be
a
really dark day for North East football because then who have we got? Newcastle.
Middlesbrough. Yeah, I lived in Middlesbrough for uni, so that's the second best team you got, and that's peak.
You know what? On that, and this is something which I say this, and people always get offended by it. There's an element for me of the regional elements of football. Londoners like me don't always get it. In London, you get people from East London that support West London teams. They've never even been to West London before they support them. You get that. You got lots of us that support Northern teams, which is fine. There's a lot of Newcastle fans in London that are my age as well, because you guys were good in the 90s, challenging. It's different when it's regional. When I lived in Manchester, derby days, in fact, forget that, the week leading up to a Manchester derby or the Northwest derby was a different experience that I'd seen growing up in London. Like the whole week is about that game. In London, other than when I'm on social media, you don't really hear about it. Does that make sense? It's a few blokes at work talking, whatever. You'll know this being from Newcastle, that when you've got a game coming up against Middlesbrough or Sunderland, it dominates the whole week before and the whole week after, depending on the result. If you got rid of those teams, this is why people always say to me, you're obsessed with Liverpool. Of course I am. They're my biggest rivals. I hate them, but I love hating them. And if somebody said to me tomorrow, you can wave a magic wand and Liverpool disappear forever, I'd throw the wand in the. I don't want that to happen. It will ruin football if we keep having these teams fall out. It's just a disgrace. And if you want to see even Arsenal look at Arsenal and Tottenham. I know they say they hate each other. If one of them disappeared, the other club loses half of itself. It's got so much of Arsenal is built on the fact that you're bigger than Tottenham. If Tottenham disappear, what are you? You're just by yourselves. Like,
it's like Batman and the Joker, man. The Batman needs Joker to be who he is, fam. Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as we hate our enemies, we also love them because it just gives you that part of you where you can just get riled up and like, right, I'm annoyed. I'm just going to take it out on you, man, because I just don't like you at all.
I lived about 10 years ago. I lived in this house share in London, and there was 2 Smoggies and 2 Geordies. They were working on this big construction job to do with the Olympics, and they had these jobs, and all 4 of them, we all lived in the same house. And I watched a few games where Middlesbrough played Newcastle, and I was with them. I've never been in an environment like that in a house with they were best mates all week, and then when they played, I remember sitting in the middle thinking, I'm going to get hurt in a minute because these guys are crazy. The one game, I remember a sofa got broke. One guy picked it up and slammed it on the floor when his team scored. And I was like, I love this, man. And that was their rivalry. And if one of that was to disappear, it'd take away from the other. So I hope that doesn't happen. And I think football, this Project Big Picture thing, they tried to finesse it around. They were trying to help the lower levels. And no one's buying that, bro. You're trying to secure yourself. And interestingly, I don't think they ever thought they'd win this vote. I think this is all a precursor and a feeler. What the big Premier League clubs want, and I think eventually they'll get it, is either a slightly bigger cut of the TV deal money, or they'll be given permission to promote and sell like pay-per-view for 2 or 3 of their own games a season that will generate the money that nobody else is getting. I think that's what they're angling for, and at some point that'll get done, I think, which is again unfortunate because it gives that monopoly, which I don't think should overly exist, outside of you generating that money yourself from one way, whether that be outside investment or sponsorship. But we are where we are, I suppose, and there's only so many restraints you can put on these 3 things, really, to be fair. But there we go. We're going to do score predictions. We'll go to yourself first, KJ. What are you
saying? Vibes FC. Will we turn up? Will we be vibing out? I do not know. But I'm just going to go for a guess. You know what? Yeah, screw it. 3-1, 3 penalties. All beautiful, bro. Like, let's go. I would love that. I would inject that into my veins.
You know what? The fact that Kendall brought up and Steve both brought up the penalties, we're definitely getting a penalty. It's going to happen now. It's out there. Absolutely. Steve, what's your prediction, mate?
Yep. I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay. And Kendall?
Well, when I was on Aaron's show yesterday, I said 2-1 Newcastle, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to change my prediction. I'm going to stick with it and just hope that positivity comes off.
There we go, 2-1. I'm going to go with 2-1 Newcastle as well. I think you'll beat us. I think we'll lose. I'm being honest. No.
You do you, innit? You do you, innit?
It's so bad, but I can see it now. It's going to be 10 o'clock Saturday night. I'm going to be crying into the biggest glass of red wine. I'm just done. I'm done out here. I'm going to do my Ian Bill. I've got nothing left. It's coming. It's over.
I have a feeling that Vibes of C will be back, do a little madness, and then prepare ourselves for the drumming that is PSG. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't even thought about PSG yet because that is scary. So I'm not even thinking about what Mbappe, Neymar, Angel Di Maria are going to do to Lindelof and Harry Maguire.
I can't wait to see that.
No, guys, you're forgetting that it's fine because we'll go kamikaze style. Mengi, Twanzebe, Boy at the back. Come on now. Let's go. It'll be fine, people.
You know he's never going to drop Maguire, don't you? Like, he loves Maguire. He absolutely loves him.
It's like Maguire is like Mason Mount for Frank Lampard, fam.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
You know,
and Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, the thing of it is, I like Maguire as a football player, but he's clearly in bad form. He's got a lot going on off the field. He just needs that rest. I remember what Fergie did it for Rooney once, where he just sent him away for 2 weeks. I would literally right now say to Maguire, I am not picking you for 2 weeks. Go on holiday. I know it's hard with the world being shut down, but go somewhere that's secluded. Delete your social media apps. So your team can put out whatever they want, but I want your phone almost turned off. Spend time with your family. I want you to recharge, regroup, come back. A week of basic training, and then we'll look at bringing you back into the team. He needs to just remove him now from the limelight. And this is where managers, you see how good they are. Fergie did it 3 or 4 times to Rooney in his career, where there was a lot of stuff going on. You know, when any of the granny stories or the cheating stories came out, it would always have like a Liverpool game or an Everton game on the horizon. And Fergie just pulled him out of those games. He went, I know what's going to happen. Rooney will get too emotional, he'll get himself sent off, or the pressure of that will damage him for weeks ahead. He'll be taken out of the firing line, brought back in at the right time, and be typical Wayne Rooney again. And I think that this is where Ollie needs to think longer term rather than the individual result. I think that's the important bit here. But I just don't know if he's got the capability to be able to do that as a manager. Every result is too important to him rather than thinking about the longer term plan. But yeah,
if he starts Maguire, just hand in your resignation, fam, because you're just basically saying that you don't understand how to manage people. As much as I rate him for his man management, this is where your man management gets tested right now. And if you don't pull him out, then for me, it's just like just give up, fam. Like there's no hope for you.
You still haven't solved your biggest problem, which is Pogba.
Listen. Paul is Paul, and he'll do what Paul does. He'll be sick one game.
He's a bad apple by the looks of it.
No, I'm not having this. I am not having this. Not today. Start with CV, boy. And I ain't about this. No. From when you get reports from everyone inside the club saying Paul Pogba is fine, he's a leader, people love him, he's great to everybody. Who are we to say that he's a bad apple in the dressing room? That's all I'm going.
The French squad, they all like line up to it and like.
Yeah, you got Deschamps coming out saying that he's a leader for the team and that. So I understand people's view on Paul Pogba and is he the right kind of player for Man United? Cool, but as soon as we start going into he's a bad apple, he's a vice, blah blah. I'm sorry, I'm shutting you down quick, bro. Like it is what it is.
He's just not a very good footballer in that case.
All right, cool. If that's your opinion, then you can hold that in. You can hold that one.
I think a lot of Man United fans. I'm the same. His lack of consistency of time is a problem for me. However, I don't hold Pogba. I made a little Schneiderlin a little bit earlier. I don't hold any of the players that we've bought and flopped as accountable in the last 7-8 years. I no longer hold any managers overly accountable. They've all played a part. And of course, there's some games where Pogba's poor, some games where Martial's poor, some games where Maguire's poor. But you can't go through a 7-8 year period of being run as badly as we have done. When you remove Fergie and Gill from their positions, you bring Woodward and Matt Judge in, consistently going in new directions, consistently changing our philosophies, consistently changing playing styles, everything, and it continued to foul. Anyone that focuses purely on Pogba, purely on Maguire, purely on Ollie, they're just not seeing the bigger picture. It's like yourselves. You all know, regardless of how good or bad or what you think of Stevie Bruce, Alan Pardew, whoever you had in the in-between, between those two, Rafa Benitez, whatever you guys think of those managers, you know the reason you are where you are, the football club, is primarily because of Mike Ashley. And that's where Man United fans are not at yet as a collective. There's too much civil war and infighting going on there. There are people that love Pogba, and they've seen Pogba be scapegoated for years. And that's why they love what's happening to Maguire, because they're like, we can create a different scapegoat that takes the mantle and attention away from Paul Pogba. I then sit back and I'm just like, you're all mad, because the Glazers sit back on their thrones going, look at this. They're fighting over the scraps. They're fighting over the things that are not even important, and they're not focusing on us. And yeah, we're the reason that there's inconsistency on the field of play. We're the reason that there's no togetherness as in the dressing room. And even today, we did a show this morning talking about there's 5 players that United really want to try and get rid of. Some are no good. Some are good players, but they're not going to get first team football this year because of the size of our squad. And it's looking likely that we're not going to get rid of any of them. So we're going to have Lingard, Rojo, Jones, Romero all sitting there getting no game time this year. Now, on a level, like fans will go, they're not good enough. So why does it matter? Well, because they've got friends in the dressing room. These guys are going to be disappointed. It's already been reported by some fairly credible journalists. The players are exceedingly unhappy with Woodward and the board with how Romero has been treated in terms of not allowing him to leave. And all of that just creates animosity within the dressing room, which is nothing to do with the manager. And that's all board level. You know, when you're paying Phil Jones $100,000 a week, of course you can't find a League One team to pick him up. They're not going to do it. It's mad. And I think for me, that's why United fans need to move on from blaming Pogba, blaming Lingard, blaming Rashford, and focus on the true problems and the true disease that Man United, which is the owners, which is Woodward, and everything around that. And until we do and do that as a collective, none of this is going to change. And then we make it easier for the media. It's very easy for a journalist to write a little thing about Pogba. It's going to trigger people. And then, do you know what we'll do today, though? We'll defend Maguire in the same circumstance, because that will really rattle the Man United fans that want to see Pogba treated the same way. And we focus on the immaterial factors or the small cogs in the wheel. And yeah, until we get ourselves off the hamster wheel as fans and focus on the bigger picture, we're doomed. we're doomed. I really think we're actually part of. We are actually a massive part of the problem about our own football club, that we're not focusing on the real issues in hand. But
I've never seen Man United fans so deflated in my life. You're normally like cocky, like, yeah, title race every year, like, let's go. I've never seen Man United fans so like,
if you let a leech suck on you, so if you let a leech suck on you for long enough, you'll lose all the blood in your body, fam. That's all I'm saying. These man have they've just drained it out of us now. I'm sick of these man. These Glazer Pagers and that beanhead Woodward need to get gone, fam. Like, can you guys teach us, like, do like a masterclass on how fans unite against an owner? Because you guys are great at it. You know what I'm saying? When everything goes wrong,
not really.
You guys come but the thing is, you guys come together. Like, at least all of you guys know that it's Ashley. Like, you can't help Ashley not selling the club, you know what I mean? But at least you're directing the hate and the smoke towards him. We're just all here trying to scattergun all the smoke everywhere. Nah, let's consolidate the smoke and launch it at Woodward and his masters, fam. That's what I'm saying.
This kind of comment here is prime for what I'm saying. So it says, trust Terry to switch a chat from Pogba to the board to Jones on 100K a week. It's not about Jones being on 100K a week. Again, that is the myopic, uneducated mind of a fan like MMA News. Phil Jones being on 100K a week is a stupid board level decision, which has made it almost impossible to move him on. One, that stops us signing additional players because there's only a certain amount of money that can be spent, and 100K a week is millions of pounds a year that we are hemorrhaging because he's not playing. But then it also creates animosity. Phil Jones will have friends in the dressing room that will see him disappointed and angry that he's going to sit not even on the bench all year. He's not even going to be in match day squads. That kind of animosity and problems becomes a rot within the squad. It's why when a player puts in a transfer request and doesn't want to be at a club anymore, clubs bend over backwards to get rid of them, because clubs don't want people that are unhappy in the dressing room, because it creates a bad vibe. All of that is what rips Manchester United down. And if people can't see that and they just think, Pogba had a bad game, that's why we're struggling. Until you get out of that like mindset, you're never going to see the big picture. And until enough people see the big picture, you can't focus on trying to remove or inflict change into the club. And that's the problem. And I would say to Newcastle fans, that's where you guys are great. And I've seen it for years now. It's Ashley's the problem. And of course you criticize Joe Linton if he's bad. You'll criticize a manager's tactics in the short term after a particular game. But if someone said to you, are they the main problem? You'll go, no, Ashley is. We know that. And I think what United fans are not in that space yet. We're really, really not. But there we go. Viewers, we'd love your score predictions as well. We really, really would. Do us a big favor and smash the like button. Steve, let everyone know where they can find you on socials, mate.
Yeah, you can find me at Steve Wraith on Twitter or on YouTube. If you search Steve Wraith YouTube channel, that's where we'll run the NFC Matters shows. And Kendall does every Monday, for those of you who've
For all you
first, seen Kendall.
Yeah, you have had a lot of compliments in the comment section today, Kendall. So some of them we didn't put up because some of them were just weird. It was people putting emoji pictures of tongues and weird stuff. Like you don't need that on a Friday morning. Like you don't need that. But yeah, Kendall, let everyone know where they can find you on socials, please.
Yeah, I've just got my @ there. It's Kendall Rowan on Twitter. It's got an X on the end, but for pretty much everything, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, I'm Kendall Rowan on everything.
Who's got the Kendall Rowan without the X on Twitter?
I don't know. I did try to get it, but I don't know who's got it. So maybe I should just like bully them into like giving me the Kendall Rowan.
I was going to say
send the bailiffs down to the yard.
That's quality. No, it's mad. Yeah, reach out. Maybe they'll hand it over. That'd be a good thing for them to do with what you're trying to build up. And of course, make sure you check out Kendall. It'll be live 7 p.m. this evening on the Football Terrace. Maya's first show. She just sent me through the agenda. It is packed. It is
the group chat's been coming in while I've been like doing this show, and I just keep seeing like this different bullet points. I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be a long one.
A lot on there. Mel's gonna be on the show. Mary is gonna be on the show from United.
Simps. I can see the simps already. Yeah. Everyone calm down when you watch the show, man. Relax, let them talk football, bro.
Also joining them on the show tonight is going to be Maya's brother, Jordan, who is a professional football player.
Jordan Graham.
Currently the academy at Wolves, currently playing. I want to say at Gillingham. I hope I've got that right. So he's going to be on the show with them today. So make sure you're tuning in 7 p.m. tonight. It's going to be a massive show. Really excited about it. And then starting this weekend on Sunday, I believe, KJ.
Yes, this is.
On Sunday, the midnight kickoff, late night streaming show hosted by Elite KJ on the Football Terrace. So make sure you're tuning in. It's going to be a late one. So we're really looking forward to that. So this comment made me laugh. The Simpsons. There are a lot of.
And Terry, can I just say we've got a good one tomorrow on the Steve Wraith and UFC Matters YouTube channel. We've interviewed Bez from the Happy Mondays, so he's doing a little pre-match preview prior to the game tomorrow. He gives his score prediction and talks a little bit about his career. So that's going to be 6:45 on our channel tomorrow night. So it's something for Newcastle and Manchester United fans.
Yeah, so get yourselves over there, ladies and gentlemen. Some great channels, some great content going on as well. But I appreciate you both coming on the Football Terrace. KJ just came in because he's got a login now, which he got given yesterday as a presenter.
I had to represent the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Someone's got to do it because otherwise Terry will just be crying in the corner. So
I honestly, it's been nice today though, because this feels like a Samaritan session to me. I've been feeling crap for 2 weeks. Today I was actually so not looking forward to it. I'm actually more looking forward to it now, which is good. It's good to talk, as they say. There we go. But I may not feel like it'd be great to get you both on actually tomorrow night after the game as well for the match reaction show. I'll send you links to come on that. Hopefully we're happy. If not, I could be in a very bad mood. And the last time we lost, I kicked off 2 of our regulars just because they annoyed me. I was gone. I just want to chat to you.
All night long stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few people are asking, is that me in the bottom left corner? No, me and Steve are both bald. We are not the same person. And the difference is Steve.
I'm the one with a halo.
But Steve has got that kind of Jason Statham look going on, I think.
I always say that on Monday. Every Monday show, it's always Jason Statham.
You look like Jason Statham. I look more like Phil Mitchell. It's not good, man. You know what I mean? I lost my hair and I went from looking all right to looking like Mr. Potato Head.
No, Kendall. Steve is the guy you send to the person with that handle that you want. You know what I'm saying? Send Steve down and you get it sorted real quick.
Go and get my app back.
I'll send somebody else. Don't worry about that.
There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you very, very much today. As ever, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the retweet button. It's so important to the independent YouTube channels that you get that done. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon.